Hello, Skelevaderites. Welcome to episode 10 of Skele's Weekly Weirdo. Today is an exciting day because it's going to be basically two episodes in one. First, I'm going to talk about an item that I've recently added to my collection. And then I'm going to bring in a very special guest, Mark from the Wake Up Heavy podcast. Who also is the co-host of the Cambridge and Wishon podcast, along with me, and we're going to go ahead and talk about. We got each other a couple of gifts, so we're going to talk about those. But first, what I want to do is go ahead and talk about the big find that I recently acquired. This was huge for me. I've been trying to get this thing for quite a while. And so I'm really excited to share it with you all. Essentially, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory on this. I didn't have all of the play sets from Masters of the Universe as a kid, but one that I did have was Castle Grayskull. And I have a lot of fond memories of that particular play set. Had a lot of great times with that. And so this thing has been recently pretty pricey. Even just the shell of the play set on eBay or at local antique stores or toy stores that sell secondhand items have been pretty pricey. So I've been really kind of hesitant to go all in on a Grayskull, especially if it was incomplete. Got two people watching, Shiny Plastic People. Yep, it's an episode so big it had to be called Mega. That's right, this is a big one, folks. And JMax77, good to see you, as usual. All right, so and we got Elf Inflict. Good to see you. Oh, good. It's good to hear that Hebrew finished right as I began. Perfect timing. We all, those of us in the YouTube toy community, we try and time ourselves around each other. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I would hate to just to live stream while Hebrew is live streaming. I know he gets a lot of folks watching. So let's go ahead and have a look at this. Now, I want to give a shout out to the eBay seller that I was able to, through which I was able to find this item, and that's Brian's Toys, and you can find him on brianstoys.com. And that links directly to his eBay site. Brian, man, when I first saw this listing, I thought this person doesn't know what he's got because it was priced so low. But I saw there were a lot of folks that were watching it, so I was like, okay, this guy maybe knows what he's talking about, knows what he's doing. So yeah. If you want to find some amazing stuff, I've recently perused his other items, brianstoys.com. He's got a lot of cool stuff. Star Wars, a lot of mint on card items. So if that's what you're interested in, you should definitely check out his site and his site through eBay. Now, I'm not going to say how much I got this item for, but it was a ridiculously good price. And it was, and I want to thank my patrons, MotuOriginsCork, Carol Geis, Don Roberts, Brick Something, and My Buddies Customs. You all helped me get this item. And so thank you so much for being patrons of the channel. Folks, if you want to become patrons of the Skelevator channel, I always send out a little bit of art if you become a patron. And we recently got these Toy Frenzy stickers. So you'll be getting a Toy Frenzy sticker if you become a patron. Or you can go ahead and purchase the Toy Frenzy sticker directly through my Etsy. That link is down below as well, I believe. If it's not, I'll add it. So I've done enough talking already, right? Let's go ahead and have a look. Folks, if you're watching and if you have questions about this or if you have comments, please feel free to post a comment, and I'll make sure you get posted live here, and I'll answer your questions. And then also be sure to stick around because I've got Mark from the Wake Up Heavy podcast coming on in just a little bit. Now, a lot of Grayskulls are in not great shape if you find them used. This one was gorgeous, and I was shocked at how beautiful it was. I looked at all the pictures carefully. You know how it goes. You look at the pictures like 20 times over and over and over again. As you can see, it has the gun up here that fits into this particular, I believe it's called a turret. The gun is attached. There's a little bit of a broken plastic piece there, but it still fits in, and the gun is in great shape. So first I was like, okay, that's amazing, right? And then when you open this thing up, I'm going to save this for later. But pretty much everything is here. In fact, the stickers are in great shape. One thing that's also usually broken is the throne. Now there is a little piece missing here, but the throne does work. You can, it'll go ahead. If I go ahead and turn it here, it opens the trap door, which is great. You just have to manually replace it. And then the elevator has the string and the little gargoyle. I mean, amazing. But that's not it. That's not everything. The part that the things that made this feel like a really exciting purchase is in this bag here, and it's nearly impossible. Oh, we got Bobby in the chat. Good to see you, Bobby. So this is exciting. And at first I thought maybe these were reproductions, but they're not. I was very excited to look at these. Even if they were, I'd be cool with it. But the cardboard cutouts are in excellent condition. So these two items that came with the Grayskull were here, and in great shape. So look at that. Even this hasn't even been torn off yet, the little antenna. But man, this is solid stuff. Really exciting. Grayskull as a kid was an amazing playset to have. I spent hours and hours and hours in that thing. So having it again is phenomenal. Bobby says those are great. Thank you. Does your Grayskull have the cardboard cutouts as well, Bobby? I know Bobby's a major vintage collector. So let me know. And then of course it has the flag and the sticker is intact. This part's not broken. Usually this is broken. It's got the weapons rack. It has almost all of the weapons. It's only missing 2 of them. And it has this. Look at that. You can tell this one has been played with a lot because the boar's nose is a little bit, it looks like it had been bent before, which is fine by me. The ladder, the weapons rack, and a bunch of weapons. It's missing the spear and the pistol, but that's it. So here's the things are falling all over the place here. Here's the weapons rack, and then of course here are all the weapons. And having this part of my collection again is a real triumph. Bobby says yes, his is complete as well. That's awesome. That's great. But those of you that do collect items like this, you know that if you're finding these vintage items online, it's difficult to know the quality of the toy that you're going to be getting, especially if the pictures are not clear. It's really hard to get something like this near complete. But man, I'm just super excited. And I was sick last week, and last week's weekly weirdo, I was going to reveal this. So I've been like waiting and waiting and waiting to show it off. Alf Inflict says, hey, Bobo, I just scored the Filmation Hordak mint on card, just under a bill. Hey, cool. That's awesome. Payne's Toy Samples, good to see you. Welcome. And Alf Inflict, did you get the little handgun from the weapons rack? No, I'm missing the handgun and I'm missing the spear. Those are the only two things that I'm missing from this. Yeah, I got my feelers out for those two particular items, but it's near complete. It's in beautiful shape. The jaw bridge opens and closes. I love the paint application for this one. I love how heavy-handed some of the black is on these Grayskulls. And what I really admire and love about the vintage Grayskull as opposed to the Origins one, and the classics as well, is that each one is different, right? Each vintage Grayskull has a different paint application. So some are similar, but every one is individual. And Bobby says, awesome. Yeah. So now I'm done with that. I'm really excited to bring in my guest. This guy is my first guest on the Weekly Weirdo show. It's usually just me talking to you all, but I'm really glad to see that there are several of you here watching. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Mark in. Mark Begley from Wake Up Heavy Podcast. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So those of you who listen to the Cambridge and Washawn podcast, you're familiar with Mark. If you're not subscribed to his Wake Up Heavy podcast, I highly recommend you do that. He talks about horror movies, cult movies, and then also
You've been on?
What was that?
And you've been on a couple episodes?
And I've been on a couple of episodes. And Mark and I have known each other for a very long time. I think we met in 94 or 93, around there. And so we go way back, and we've always loved talking about pop culture. It's something that's always kept us connected. And so our Cambridge and Washawn podcast, we talk about all kinds of cool things. So Mark, tell us a little bit about what we talk about in the upcoming April 4th episode.
So in the upcoming episode, we each share 2 items that we were obsessed with as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And for you this time, it is the 1980 Robert Altman film Popeye.
That's right.
As well as McDonaldland, in particular, a couple of characters from McDonaldland. McDonaldland? Am I saying, is it McDonaldland or McDonald's Land? McDonaldland.
I think it's McDonaldland, yeah.
And then my 2 topics this time are, what are they? Oh, the actually I have it right here. The Tomlin Cyclops, which is kind of a Mego knockoff figure that a friend of mine had when we were kids that I tried to steal from him. You can hear that story on the episode.
That's right.
And Stretch Armstrong. Those were my 2 items.
And,
but I think we're both here because of maybe one of those topics. I could be wrong. I have a feeling it's the same topic.
I think
but
so.
We'll see.
So Mark and I, it was just Mark's birthday last week, and as I was laying on the couch feeling ill, I was doing a little birthday shopping for Mark on eBay, and I found him something. This particular thing is it's not huge, but it's adorable and very cool. And Mark, I texted him. I said I showed him the shipping or the arrival date of the item that I got him, and he was like, "Oh, well, I got you something too."
Yep.
And so we're going to use today to reveal those to each other. We got JMax77, man. McDonald's really grabbed us as kids back in the day. Oh my gosh, totally. If they were still as awesome as they were back then, I would probably be eating a lot more McDonald's too.
Yeah. There's been some cool stuff over the years. I know I've gone to get my daughter Happy Meals for either
Yeah,
she or my own
yeah,
toys. I
yeah.
can't specifically think of any right now, but there's been a few
There's been some cool
items.
ones. The last batch that I didn't go into McDonald's for these, but they they I ordered them on eBay, but every once in a while, everybody in the family, we all get Disney mania, and we get obsessed with Disneyland. It happens about once a year, and we try to make a trip, but can't always afford to do that. So I got the Happy Meal Disney character toys. They're all like the different characters, and they're in a train, so they attach to one another.
I think I
And
saw
they're based
pictures of
on
that.
have you seen those newer Mickey Mouse cartoons that are?
No, but I keep hearing about them. I keep hearing that they're really good.
Yeah, they are really good. And so that was a cool run of Happy Meal toys. We got
They always put them in
Ostradamus.
vehicles. They always put them in vehicles, though. That's what I was talking about on
Yeah, yeah.
the episode.
Why do they always have to put these characters in vehicles?
I don't know.
It's perplexing.
I guess static figures just don't work for most people these days.
Maybe for the little ones.
Yeah.
Um, and Oz is saying hello to everybody in the chat, and we also have Duchess of Darkness chiming in. Good to see you. All right, so
Who's first?
well, it's your birthday, so I'll let you choose.
Oh gosh. Well, you go ahead and give me mine first.
All right. Now, I opened it because I wanted to make sure that, when you order something from eBay, you want to make sure that it's in good shape.
And like I said, I just hope we didn't gift of the Magi each other here.
We probably did. I don't know. But all right. So here's this guy. He's wrapped up in bubble wrap, which is awesome.
Nice. Leave that seller a positive review.
I did. I already did.
So did I.
Oh, good. So, are you ready for this?
I knew it. I figured it out.
You did?
Awesome. Yeah. Well, because it's funny. You texted me the link, and I'm like, oh, I'm watching that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was before that or after that, I got an offer from the seller. So like if you want, I like this idea now that if you put something on your watch list on eBay, then a lot of times that generates, a prompt from the seller, like, oh, I've got people watching this. Maybe I'll drop it 10% or 15% or 25% or whatever. So you get a notification from eBay. And I think the last 3 or 4 things I've purchased from eBay, I have done it because they have sent one of those offers.
Yeah.
So I got the offer for, I don't know, I think it was 20, maybe 10% off or 15 for this. And I was still kind of like, oh, I don't know.
And then
and then it was gone. And then you're like, oh, I got you something for your birthday, or you sent me the notification, of the shipping notification, and I was like, the timing on this is rather suspicious. So that's awesome.
When you find a static figure like this, and the photos really showed that it was in good shape, but
it looks like it.
He's in better shape than I thought he would be from the photos.
That's awesome.
So he's beautiful. And he's solid plastic.
he'll uh, quickly replace the Funko version.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, I'll still keep this one, but these are like last resort toys for me when you can't find an
yes,
IP in any other
yes,
form that isn't $300.
yep.
It's like, oh well, there's a Funko Pop version for 12, so I'll get
That's
that.
that's why I have my I got the Grimace Funko Pop because I was like, I just can't find the we talk about it in the Cambridge and Washawn episode, but I used to have the Huckleberry re-release of the McDonaldland Grimace, not just the regular version, the four-armed version, which I believe was never really available as a
Right.
vintage toy. So it was kind of a special edition thing. And in desperation, my in my 20s, late 20s, I sold it back to a
Yeah.
store, which was
Yeah.
stupid. Um, we talk about that, but
Yeah. You can hear all
yeah, this
about that on
guy's
the episode. Yeah,
yep.
he's really cool. There's a littler version, and I don't know if I think it's plastic too, but it might
Mhm.
be rubber, of Officer Big Mac that was a Happy Meal toy that's just like a solid they're solid colors. Like I've seen yellow, red, and orange.
Right,
So I'm kind of keeping my eyes peeled for an orange version or red. I see
right.
the yellow one up there, and that's not really one of my colors. Orange or red, I would probably take in a heartbeat.
The
But
yellow one I saw, I think you and I probably saw the same yellow one. It's
yeah.
not in great shape either,
Mm,
but, and then there are a few sort of, um there are a few versions of Grimace out there that are pretty cool too.
mhm.
Um, Duchess says,
Yeah.
"He's great, Skelly." Yeah, this guy, this
And then Vintage Motu, which I think is what everybody wishes, I wish
yeah,
I had all my Migos from when I was a kid.
yeah. Those Remco dolls, you know, At all last week while I was not feeling well, I was looking at the Remco
That's what
dolls.
I was too.
Um,
Your topic, not so much Popeye, but the McDonaldland stuff really,
yeah,
claw
McDo
I put its claws in me this week, or since we recorded actually, which was a couple of weeks ago, and I've been just, I sent you that train set,
Yeah.
and even the weird stuff like the Fisher Price,
Oh, yeah.
set, the little it doesn't well, no, I think it comes with a couple of the characters, Ronald and maybe, Hamburglar.
Yeah.
But then and I've looked at this stuff before because when it pops up, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I've seen these." So there was another one, the Play School set, um, that they had weird little square figures like the Fisher Price figures, but they're all square and angular, and it was a series called Familiar Places, and McDonald's was one of the familiar places, and
Yeah.
so it's a small McDonald's. It was, I think, prior to when they had the kinda sloped roofs and stuff, and
Oh,
prior
yeah.
to McDonaldland itself,
Yeah.
and so there are no characters in it, it's just like workers and customers, but but yeah, the Rimco stuff, the Huckleberry, reproduction
Yeah.
ones, I've just been, like, hoping that there'll be something at a reasonable price, and it just hasn't happened.
Well, it'll happen. I mean, it it always it depends, right? Sometimes, um I don't know if you do this, but when I this how I found this Grayskull was that I type in the name of the item that I'm looking for, and then I always choose um, least expensive to most expensive.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
lists
that's what I do. I
yeah,
filter it, yeah.
but I also pay when I do that. I click on one, and then I always look at the suggestions. For some
Yeah.
reason, the suggestions once you clicked on an item,
Mhm.
um, I often have better luck in that area because they don't always show up.
Yeah, and
And
it's
so
keywords, the keywords you're using
yeah,
might be slightly different, and
yeah,
yeah, with the McDonaldland stuff, it's like, should I just put McDonald's or should I put
yes,
McDonaldland
right.
character or just Rimco McDonald's? Will that be good enough? And
It,
then, like you say, then the other stuff. pops up, and then you just keep going down and down and down the rabbit hole.
I know. It's kind of fun. Pop Actor says, I have all the Funko Pop McDonald's and the Flintstones too. That's cool.
Flintstones.
I feel like Funko Pops, like Mark said, are basically their filler if you can't get the vintage thing. But I think the blank eye look on the McDonaldland characters really kind of works.
You know what would be great for these is if they did the smaller the minifigures, because they have more detail.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And they had a series of ad icons. I don't think they've done a second series, but if they did and they had some of the McDonaldland stuff in there, I think I might flip out.
Yeah. Do you have all of the McDonaldland characters?
No, just the I'm kind of, like we talk about on the episode, it's the hamburgers that really
Yes.
get me going. So,
Yeah.
I why that is, I don't know, but give me an anthropomorphic hamburger and I get all tingly inside.
Yeah, well, there's something about a hamburger with big googly eyes.
Yeah.
Pop Actor says Ronald is the only one that he doesn't like from Funko. Yeah, the Ronald McDonald kind of looks a little lackluster, I'd say.
And it's also kind of strange, fitting with their formula that these the heads are rectangular.
Yeah, that's strange.
Instead of round. I mean, this burger is round.
Yeah.
But, that's just how their heads are. And it's like, except for very specific head types, I think they switch it up a little bit. But I'm thinking, why didn't you just make those hamburgers round?
Yeah.
Or hamburgers,
doesn't make any sense.
For Pete's sake.
Well, it is interesting to note that this that the Officer Big Mac, his head does have it is a little bit square because the face is flat. And I was looking at this. I was looking at also a little Officer Big Mac in a pullback bar. And it had he has sort of a square head too. So I'm wondering if that particular character.
I mean, all the artwork that I see of him makes it look round. I don't know.
Yeah. All the posters. And
yeah,
there's
Wendy's are the ones with the square burgers. That's a very good point.
That's true. And also White Castle too, I believe.
Yeah, I guess they are.
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah.
They're like little teeny tinies too. They're kind of adorable.
Yeah, they are. That's East Coast stuff though. We don't get those here.
Yeah, we don't. When I lived on the East Coast, I enjoyed a couple of late night visits to White Castle.
I've only had the frozen ones from Target a couple times, and they're all right. I'm sure.
I haven't tried those yet. I haven't tried
fresh. I'm sure is as good as it can get with their burgers.
They're not great.
Yeah.
And Primate 776, welcome. It's good to see you. Sorry if I always stumble over your name, but it's good to see you back.
Okay, so shall I surprise you?
Yeah.
And this is in direct reference to the episode. And as we recorded, I was thinking about this, and then as I was editing the episode, I started to feel kind of bad about this situation, where in the McDonaldland discussion, we talk about the recent adult Happy Meals and the joy/pain of trying to track those down. And you very graciously, you found Grimace on one of your attempts. I got asked out on my one and only attempt at finding one, and then you ever so graciously went and ate another adult Happy Meal to sacrifice for finding me a Hamburglar. And as we discussed on that episode, those are your two guys. Those are your two main figures. So
absolutely,
I've looked off and on eBay for a Grimace to get at a reasonable price. They're pretty abundant, and like I said then, and we've discussed, you can get them for about as much as the meal costs, and this is
Yeah.
really what you're getting it for. So I found a Grimace, so I grabbed
Nice.
him,
Fantastic.
and it was a double listing, and
Oh.
it came with a Hamburglar.
Yes.
So you get your Hamburglar, because I was like, you could have not told me that you got it and kept it,
Yeah.
and never been able to like post it on any kind of social media or talk about it because I would have been like, dude, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, even then I would have understood because it's one of your favorites. So
Yeah.
you've got a
Hey,
Grimace. So we've got the pair that we both like and wanted now.
that's
And
so awesome.
it was the same kind of deal where I put it on my watch list and sort of waited for the offer because I've been getting them doing that, and it came through, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, let me check my Patreon and see if I have any money in there." And I
There you
did,
go. Yeah.
and transferred it over to PayPal. It went through immediately, so I was able to snatch up that offer that the seller sent and
That's
got the
awesome.
pair of them for 16 bucks.
Oh,
So,
that's such a good deal. Yeah, that's so great, Mark. Thank you so much, man. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
they're in good shape.
Yeah.
So, and I just realized I was looking at mine and I was like, well, I wonder if the one I got is the same. And let me use him because he's not in a bag, but I don't know if it's on purpose, but it's on at least R2. His hands seem to be upside down or like switched,
Oh,
because
it's
this should be the thumb and it's really long.
it's
It's
almost like
longer.
he has 2 thumbs and 2 fingers.
So I don't know if that's just a part of their quirky design or
Right.
if it's a goof and they molded them incorrectly, and that's the only way they could fit them on was to put them on the wrong arms. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Who
I love
knows?
it though. I mean, all the folks that watch this channel, they know that I love the wonky figures. I love even the mistakes. I love all those anomalies. Pop Actor says, "What's a grimace?"
Well, hey, tune in and you'll find out. Well, we
Yeah,
discussed that. What is a
that's right.
grimace? There
There's a
is a
grimace right
rumor.
there. But yes, for sure. And Alf Inflict says I had a big double bubble bucket full of McD's transforming food items. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yes, those are
those are
cool.
very, very cool. I think that I every time I come across the Transformer hamburgers, I'm always like,
Hmm.
"Oh, man, that would be."
Yeah, those are on my list of
Yeah,
things to possibly get at some point because they are pretty cool. And in just in their normal state, I
yeah.
like the look of the burger and the everything. So
It's just there's something about those characters. I feel like if I'm gonna, even the professor and Captain Crook and um, and Birdie, all those, even the minor characters are interesting. The Fry guys,
mhm.
um, it's so strange.
Yeah,
It's such a cool part of our culture that the McDonald's Corporation created these super strange. Who would think that there should be a anthropomorphic hamburger head mayor and hamburger head police officer. Um, I guess
yeah.
it,
Well, we don't get into this in the episode, but I kind of read, and I remember this from reading previously, but they got sued by Sid and Marty Krofft because
yeah.
it seemed like a direct ripoff of HR Stuff and some of
Oh,
the other shows of theirs where you had people in costumes like that, very similar, oversized heads. And
mhm.
I mean, HR Stuff wears a mayor sash, I
That's
believe.
right. Yep. Yep.
And I think they were originally hired to create them
Oh
for
wow.
McDonald's and didn't. And
Yeah.
then I don't think, you can't necessarily trademark characters in costume because then you're going to start going up against Disneyland.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, definitely the HR Puffin stuff comparisons to Mayor McCheese and Officer Big Mac are pretty valid.
Yeah,
Plus
for
all the
sure.
other things popping, being alive and, plant life and stuff being alive in those shows. Everything had a little face.
Yeah.
And that's very much how McDonaldland is presented in those early commercials.
If you watch those early commercials alongside those episodes of HR Puffin stuff, there's so many similarities. It's
Yeah.
very tangible. Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, welcome. He says, I have all the figures and the playset. That's so great. Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, he's got a great channel. You should, if you haven't done it already, you should post your figures and your playset on your channel. We'd all love to see that.
Is that the train set? Because doesn't the
Yeah.
train come with a McDonaldland store or a McDonald's as part of it?
It's like the train goes around essentially the McDonaldland, and then there's a McDonald's restaurant and
Yeah.
a tree, the tree, and there's but what's really wonderful about that play set is the backdrop. It's straight up like Toontown looking, stylized backdrop. It's very cool. Masters Maniac Mexico, good to see you.
Yeah, that I saw a couple of those available when I was doing my searches as well.
Yeah, those are very expensive. So Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, it's awesome that you have that.
Very cool. Excuse me.
That's all right. So folks, if you haven't listened to the Cambridge and Washon podcast yet, it's hosted by Mark and hosted by me, and we have we've had a full lifelong practically relationship talking about oddities and pop culture that we're obsessed with, and so we turned that into a podcast, and we post one every month, and the newest episode is coming out on April 4th, so just 2 days from now. But if you're anxious and you would love to listen to the episodes every month before they come out or without commercials, you should definitely become a Patreon of Mark's channel, Wake Up Heavy, and or of mine, the Skelevator channel, because our Patreon accounts will post, we each post the episodes before they air and without commercials. So a couple other people saying hi. Danny Phillips, welcome. Good to see you. And Ray Black, awesome. Good to see you.
Hello.
Mark, any other thoughts before we part ways today?
The other thing, I realized that I still had the body. I talk about this on the show.
Oh, what is it?
My decapitated.
Oh yeah,
Stretch Armstrong that's in very poor condition. I forgot that I thought I had tossed the body out, but apparently he's just laying on the love seat back there.
That's
so
awesome.
He's starting to crack, and
oh no,
I removed the head because the face sculpt is so amazing on that figure.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's a reproduction. That is not an original, in case anybody's
we
freaking out right now.
One thing that Mark and I do is that after and before each episode, we'll send each other messages about the items that we're going to be talking about or the subjects that we're going to be talking about. And we brought up the Stretch Armstrong octopus that we talked briefly about that. And sure enough, about a couple weeks later, Mark sent me a link to the Stretch Armstrong octopus on Amazon. So
yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones that they re-released, but it's in that smaller scale. So
I have very fond memories of that. Well, you'll have to
rip another one apart.
You'll have to tune into the podcast to hear that whole story.
Yeah.
Well, so the one thing to mention here is that the podcast is hosted by Weirding Way Media, and that's also where Wake Up Heavy is hosted. And there are a multitude of really cool podcasts on weirdingwaymedia.com. So folks, you should all go check out Weirding Way. There's if you know where the term Weirding Way comes from Dune. And if you know that, then you know there must be some people behind the whole thing that have good taste, have interesting interests. So definitely go to weirdingwaymedia.com and check out all those podcasts there. And definitely subscribe to Wake Up Heavy. It's not just because Mark is a friend of mine, but it's definitely one of my top 5 favorite podcasts. Every episode's always good. And I think Cambridge and Washawn is getting there too. It's pretty. The last couple of episodes have been pretty awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy re-listening to it as I'm editing.
Yeah.
And I can't say that about everything else. Like every episode of Wake Up Heavy sometimes is just a chore, but it's fun to go back through. I mean, I have to go back through it once or twice after we're done, edit, and then put in clips. I'm starting to put in clips like I do on the other show, just because some of the things that we talk about, movies or McDonaldland commercials and things like that, lend themselves to adding clips. And so I have to kind of listen to it again when I'm mixing it and adding all that stuff as well. And it's a lot of fun to, I mean, I don't mind listening to myself either, but it's more fun to pick up on the things that I may have missed while we were talking. And so it allows me to listen as a listener in a way as well. And they're fun. It's a lot more fun than some of the other stuff. So
that's true. It's fun because I think everybody can identify with the feeling of being interested in a thing and digging deep into that thing. And that's something that you and I have always kind of just naturally done.
Very true.
Vintage Motu says, awesome guys. Thank you, Bobby. And Payne's Toy Sample says, enjoyed the customs you showed off, Bill. So yeah, listen, this community is pretty great because everybody's creative. And I want to send a very special thank you again to MotuOriginsCork, Brick Something, My Buddies Customs, Carol Geis, and Don Roberts. Thank you all so much for being Patreons of the channel. Folks, if you want to be Patreons of the Skelevator channel, the link is down below. I'm going to also be posting Mark's links down below as well. So definitely check that out. And, let me know if you want a Skelevator sticker, and I'll send you to the place where you can get it. Toy Frenzy sticker. I'm all out of Skelevator stickers, so Toy Frenzy sticker. Nice. So yeah, you're gonna get one, Mark. You got one coming to you.
Awesome. With
folks,
my Officer Big Mac.
Yes, along with your Officer Big Mac.
Yeah, we'll have to meet up and hand off. I've got your switchblade comb too, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, we'll have to do a coffee soon and hand off these items. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all of you coming here and to check out this lengthier episode of I almost called it Weirding Way. Weekly Weirdo. Duchess says this is great, Skelly and Mark. Oh yeah, and Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Paynes was complimenting you on your customs. So yeah, man, everybody here creates some really cool stuff. And so also, folks, I'm going to be posting. I did take a break off of working on this new Snake Mountain that I've been making for a person who recently ordered one from me. So if you're interested in that, I will be posting the next stage of that build either tonight or tomorrow. But it's coming together and it's really exciting. So thank you all for being here.
Oh, yeah. Can I mention one thing?
Yes, of course.
Along with the eBay searching and all that, finding some Instagram accounts that are McDonaldland specific or close enough. The filming in McDonaldland one, and then the one that I sent you, Dustin Crops Boy.
Oh yeah,
That's all one word. So he has a YouTube channel where he shows his what do you call it? Refurbishing McDonaldland pieces for people, and those videos are amazing.
Yes. Dustin Crops Boy on YouTube. You sent me that link, and I think I watched almost everything on his channel.
Same.
It's so good, and they're well-made videos too. I mean, I'm watching his videos. I'm like, how does he? I always get excited when people can incorporate animations and things in their videos. But yeah, watching him take a damaged fiberglass wall piece from an older McDonald's, and fixing it up is just incredibly satisfying. So I'm glad you remember bringing him up.
Yeah. Very labor intensive and creative at the same time, and it's amazing.
Such cool stuff. Ray Black, thank you. Yes, absolutely. And JMax77 said, Mark, he's going to check out your content.
Cool. Well. Thank you.
Yeah, folks, check out Wake Up Heavy and check out
if you like horror movies. If you don't, it might not be your bag.
Well, I think
every once in a while there's something else, but
I think it's the way you talk about the movies too. It's not, and also it's not just horror movies. If you like, oddball movies too. Mark talks about some cult favorites, and so definitely, if you like movies, you'll enjoy the Wake Up Heavy podcast. Man, I've been really enjoying those the recent episodes of Police Squad and Naked Gun that you and your pals have been talking about.
There is that as well. From the Files of Police Squad is one of the shows on Wording Way, and it's pretty much all done and wrapped up. 10 episodes. You can binge it if you want.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, everybody. I guess that's it for today. Mark, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We got to do this again. We got to do this again soon when we get some more
surprises.
Yeah.
Very true.
All right, now we begin the long goodbye. So thanks everybody for being here. Mark, thanks for being a guest on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. All right, we'll see you later, folks.